chocolatiers. It's October. The air turns cold, the shadows stretch longer, and for one beautiful month, every year we welcome the things that go bump in the night. Welcome to Octoberfest, where we celebrate the horror movies that haunt us. Tonight's episode, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. If you think that Freddy Krueger was finished after the first 3 Elm Street films, think again. By 1988, Freddy returned with a pop culture grin, neon nightmares, and a new generation to terrorize. But is The Dream Master a brilliant reinvention, or a cash grab sequel, or something in between? Let's find out. Quick warning, this review is going to contain full spoilers if you haven't seen it already and want to stay pure of dreams. Pause here and go watch it. Otherwise, follow me into the dream. The Dream Master opens with the familiar teenage angst, suburban corridors, and that sense that sleep might be the most dangerous thing that you'll do today. We meet Alice Johnson, shy and battered, whose quiet exterior hides a sleeping power that she doesn't yet understand. Alice is played by Lisa Wilcox, and this film is very much her coming-of-age nightmare story. From the start, the movie leans into a high concept. It's Freddy gaining power by invading and killing teenagers in their dreams, and the survivors can inherit skills from the dead. It's a neat, almost video game mechanic that gives the sequel its momentum. The tone is lighter than the original's grim mood, darker than a full comedy. The Dream Master walks a stylistic tightrope because you got that 80s color palette, shocky practical effects, and a Freddy who's become a jokester with a little slice of some malice. Now, let's talk characters. Alice is the emotional anchor, clearly. She's very timid, she's empathetic, slowly morphing into a leader who can fight back in the only place that the enemy can even reach, inside her mind. Lisa Wilcox sells that arc. She's vulnerable and then weirdly believable as she flips from scared girl to that dream warrior. The supporting cast is a memorable blend of archetypes. You got the bully, jock, comic relief, and that one friend who knows too much information and disappears too quickly. Robert Englund's Freddy is now a fully realized icon, part of, that nightmare boogeyman. Englund balances the comic taunts and the genuine threat with surgical precision. Some performances are campy on purpose. This is 88 horror, leaning into spectacle. If you're here for subtle character study, you'll be kind of frustrated. If you're here for personality, gore, creativity, and a scrapbook of inventive deaths, buckle right up. The director this time around is Renny Harlin. He pushes the film into surreal territory. The dream sequences are bold, they're colorful, and often delightfully deranged. Practical effects rain rubber, latex, and makeup. It gives you those clever camera tricks. They don't always age gracefully, but they deliver the tactile nightmare energy that CGI rarely matches, like in the modern remake they did in, 2010? Standout sequences here: the iconic school hallway engulfed in flames of Freddy's humor, the gym class slow-motion gore, the finale where reality, phrase, and dreams pile on like layers of a nightmare cake. These scenes show imagination on a modest budget, and they work really well. Editing and pacing is pretty brisk. The movie knows that it's a roller coaster and rarely lingers, and it helps the sequel lean into spectacle rather than atmosphere, which will be a win for some and a loss for others. There's a lot of themes and subtext here because underneath the gore and one-liners, there's a loose theme about empowerment. Alice inherits not just combat skills but a psychological agency. She then learns to assert herself to stand tall against abuse and to protect the younger generation. The film frames that in genre terms, defeating the monster equals reclaiming sleep, reclaiming peace. However, the darker subtext, which is the loss of innocence, the exploitation of children's fears, remains. Freddy feeds on vulnerability, and the Dream Master plays with the idea that trauma can be passed on, reworked, or even weaponized. That gives the film a surprising emotional anchor. Here's where it really works though: Freddy. Englund always gives the character an electric, gleeful malice. The dream logic, whenever the movie leans into the surreal, it finds its sweet spot. The film's sense of momentum, the creative kills, Alice's arc, all combine into an experience that's pretty fun, frightening, and oddly moving. And the sound design here really works wonders. In this film, we get creepy children's songs, synth scores, and the way ordinary noises then become unsettled build dread in a way that the visuals alone can't. Now, what doesn't work is The lighter tone sometimes undercuts the horror. Jokes can diffuse tension right before a scare should really land. Some characters are thin, serving primarily as just Freddy fodder, and the 80s aesthetic with the neon wardrobes and synth will date the film in many ways that are charming in some viewers' eyes and distracting to others. Moreover, the rules of the dream world shift when the plot needs them to. Very convenience over logic in places. That's forgivable in a slasher sequel, but it's definitely worth calling out. Now, the climax is pure nightmare theater. Freddy pushes the survivors to the brink. Then the film flips the genre. The weak girl inherits strength, stands up, and fights in a metaphysical arena. The finale is equal parts catharsis and spectacle because the practical effects get a last hurrah here, and the final showdown feels very earned because the protagonist has definitely changed. Now, is the ending clean? Not really. The Dream Master leaves Freddy's fate ambiguous enough to keep those sequels in play, and of course, history shows us that Freddy never stays down for long. Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master is definitely a great land for Octoberfest. It's a sequel that knows its audience. It trades some of the original's bleak horror for kinetic spectacle and personality. If you love imaginative dreamscapes, practical effects, and an energetic Freddy, this is definitely a must watch. If you want tense psychological dread and unnerving subtlety, you might prefer the original. I think that it's definitely entertaining, occasionally inspired, and of late 80s horror, it's definitely flawed, flashy, but it's memorably fun. And with that, thank you guys for joining this Octoberfest Spotlight. If you guys like the deep dive, hit the like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the rest of our Octoberfest lineup. Next up, we're covering Nightmare on Elm Street 5. See how it connects to this film and why the Elm Street saga keeps pulling us back into sleep. With that, drop your favorite Dream Master moment in the comments. Mine's the gym sequence. And let's argue about which Freddy quip lands the hardest. And with that, sleep tight, don't let Freddy bite.